Hello, everyone. Happy last day of August. How is everyone doing? Hey, Patrick. Good morning, PMG. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning, everybody in the background. So, how are we doing? PCE Thursday, Jobless Claims Thursday, and tomorrow is, remember, non-farm payrolls. And then Monday in the US is Labor Day, so the equities are closed. Good morning, Jacob. So the PCE and the one I was watching, the core PCE year over year higher, coming in a little hotter than expected, more monthly in line, but still, it's running still hot. It's double. I mean, the annual is double over what the Fed's goal is. So we will see. But the market's pulling back slightly after that number, but no real rise in the rates probability yet. Initial jobless claims coming in a little better. Continuing jobless claims were those coming in a little worse. So that's where we sit with the mixed jobless claims. Personal spending coming in hotter. Personal income coming in cooler. So spending money you're not earning. There we go. By the way, Collins is doing prepared remarks now, but not touching on anything from the, really their monetary policy. So that is not going to be anything market moving. We have PMI coming out at 8:45 Central. Dallas Fed PCE minor. And that's really it. And then we go tomorrow. You go see we got non-farm payrolls, which is this is the last non-farm payroll before the next meeting from the Fed. And this was the last PCE number before the meeting from the Fed. And also tomorrow we have ISM numbers. So right now, sort of a mixed market. Dollar General, which released earnings this morning, absolutely crushed. They missed, and down close to 17%. Energy bouncing back up, energy continuing higher. So far, energy, comm services, and technology leading. Let's just do a quick brief. Now it's energy, real estate, and comm services leading. Leading. Fed watch, still we're in pause mode, and then a cut in June. A cut in May. So nothing's really changed in there. So next meeting, the markets strongly favor a pause, and even then a pause through no more hikes. Fear greed still in neutral mode. All right, as I mentioned, Dollar General. Campbell's was a miss on EPS, but a beat on revenue and pretty flat going into the open. After the close today, we got Broadcom, Lululemon are the biggies, but nothing that's really going to be market moving. And I guess Dell somewhat in VMware. So we hit on the S&P futures. We hit the stop reduction. And some people end up on, if they're trading the shorter term, take some profits off if they're using this as a very short term play. But for our sake, it's the stop reduction. So now the stop is 44.21 on a closing basis, 43.97.75 on a intraday trading basis without a close. So that would invalidate the rest of the pattern. Even with a pullback, you see here, major support still back down at about 44.80, 44.82. Minor support, what I'm watching today is I'm keeping an eye after you see we spiked up and a little reversed back into the consolidation overnight and yesterday afternoon and overnight. I'm keeping an eye really right around this 45.20. We start getting below there. My next support going back into the trading day is 4,500 to 4,505 roughly. Other than that, I'm just going to be paying attention today to the shorter 4-hour rotation zone. And if we move up with a pausing bar, I just do minor harmonic levels. But watching to see where we close today. Remember, the 62.5 is 45.27.75. So that's where I'm watching on a closing basis, a close above there. We then kick in and start watching for that 87.5 rule where we have a gap left behind. So that is very key. Would not be surprised to see somewhat of a possibly choppier day with some swings back and forth being the end of the month. I'd have to get strong tick readings either up or down with momentum bars for that to change. The NASDAQ you see yesterday closed hitting the 62.5 level. Officially triggering the double. Still flagging on the NASDAQ though. So a 15.5, 17.75 on a closing basis. Nowhere near the first target. And what I was watching yesterday to see if it closed above there, did not, because then that would have kicked in the higher rules. So here, keeping an eye where that closes today. The levels I'm watching going into the open is roughly about 15,456. And then we got some key support back at 15,373, 375 area. So, not much to talk about there. The Dow, which is, again, we're into 5-day bounce, hitting the 62.5 this morning. If it rallies back, a close 35,175 above there. Closes not only above the breakdown level, but also kicks into the 62.5, and then we watch for that 87.5 return. Other than that, going in, watching the 4-hour rotation zone. So support, I'll be keeping an eye on into the open first is about 35,030, and then 35,000 are my little key levels. Russell yesterday hitting the first target. So let's just put on the official invalidation level right now. Is technically, we could raise it a bit more, but let's just go off here. For right now, it's about 1863.8 on a closing basis. So other than that, the Russell next targets are 1918 and 1929.6. So even with a pullback, we'll be watching for Russell for continued bounce and keeping an eye on the open at 1905. If we pull back, then my next pullback level is 1900 VIX. You see the volatility is just getting the smackdown again into the lower volatility range. So we could be especially kicking off after we get the end of month and the beginning of September out of the way in non-farm payrolls. Unless something really is off tomorrow with non-farm payrolls, we could be seeing back to sell vol by the equities, because we're back in that sell vol by the equity range, and we have those doubles that are playing out. Good morning, Sterling. The DAX. So we triggered the double back on Tuesday, little pullback yesterday, and now marching higher today, still 16,109. 16,201, that's a really key level in the DAX because you close above there. It's the 62.5 rule also. 62.5, 87.5. Then 16,283, and remember you also have a gap left behind. So paying close attention to that, but that has not hit the stop reduction yet. The notes, virtually first and nearly second target hit on the channeling double pattern. Key support back coming in about 110.08. The still targets are 110.20.5 and 110.27.5. So that's about it. Yield, which did not have a fantastic pattern, did not have a double, pulling back 25% harmonic, and the key, you see that was the peak back from 7th of July area and back from 2nd of March area. So watching for this support to kick in right around here. 10-2s still caught in the middle of this upper range. Dollar index bouncing back after retesting. No close below the rotation zone yesterday. Kissing the channel goodbye in a bounce. See, I want to really see if this holds up through trading today. Still also an inside bar from yesterday, but it will be very interesting if we can close above yesterday's high. That would also trigger a very aggressive % B buy. So I'm keeping an eye on that with the dollar index. Crude continuing to march higher. Looks like it's going to close today unless we get something really strange happening above the 62.5. So we'll be watching for a return to the high range. Little bigger pullback than expected, but catching on that 50. And then if it breaks out higher, let's just see what those targets would be. Let's see where we sit. That's a great area to do the reverse harmonics. So again, 85.80 to 86.02, then 86.72. Natty gas, not much yet. We're just waiting, still forming this higher channel base. Gold, no close above the 62.5 yesterday and retested this morning. That's the key level I'm still watching. Any pullback, your major supports now where the first cross the rotation zone is about 1955. Minor support coming in 1965. Silver, still expecting even a pullback here. This has closed above the 62.5, so we're watching for some kind of pullback and then a rotation back up. What else do we have? What else do we have that's important? 10 years, nothing. It's sort of pulling back here, but unless we start closing below about 62 basis points, nothing's really changed there. US dollar, Japanese yen, basing here, still watching for a reconnection with 148.85 on another push up. The only thing that would be the close below 145 roughly to watch for more of a pullback. Euro, are we getting to potential pullback double bottom territory? Not yet, but keeping an eye on that. So I will be watching to see if it drops back below about 108.10 area. Euro weakening, but still holding some key support. Pound. Again, I'm still focused on the eventual rollover play and hitting this 124 level. Bitcoin, not much going on there after the run up. It really needs to get above this 28,000 before I'll be interested from any bullish case from that again. What else? Spiders hitting the stop reduction target. Also closing above the 62.5. So the longer term levels, we're still watching about 452.80 and then 455.44 to 456.14. The pullback levels going into the open, I'm keeping an eye on the 1 hour rotation zone in this, and 450 being key support, and then the next support level, the next very strong support levels is just in front of 448, or just in front of 448. But we still have the targets up there to use, so there's not much else to talk about there. The Qs, still the key target is 379.66 to 379.82. Support again, I'll be watching a 1 hour rotation zone. Minor support going into the open is about 375.80, and then about 375 to 374.60. All right, what else do we have? Hey, Christoph, hello. Tesla, still stalling out between the 50 and the 62.5. No major top patterns here yet. Going to be watching to see, especially if we start breaking below about 253. Other than that, watching for the rollover play. The only thing that changes that is if we get a close above 266.69. Nvidia, double top, but that's a long way off from potentially triggering, but that's what I'm watching for. If we do break above this little base here, let me just see, from the reverse harmonics, this little push, and then from the farther out one, I'm just sticking with the older ones, 522.84 if we break above 502. Other than that, what do we have? Sterling, KRE has triggered a daily double bottom and a pullback trade. If the target's all, I would take back. Okay, let's see. KRE. On which time a daily double bottom has triggered. Oh, this one. This little one. It's also a looks like it would be the 4 hour. The 4 hour, it's easier to spot. Pullback, and your key support is 44.16 about. So that's where that sits right now. But yeah, it's a triggered double. Targets 45.32, 45.70, and 46.06. All right, not much else to talk about this morning. Just going to let today play out, and remember, unless we get strong momentum either way with associated tick, I'm looking for the possibility of a choppier day with month end today. All right, I got to run a little earlier today, so I shall talk to everyone later. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back for non-farm payrolls tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful trading day. Bye for now.